Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Soraya, Honorable Ministers here present, government officials, representatives of international and regional organizations here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this closing ceremony. And I hope you had fruitful discussions and good debates throughout the day. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Honorable Minister for our closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Government officials here present, honorable ministers, representatives of international and regional organizations, President of the ICA, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm deeply honored to join you today to celebrate the milestones achieved through this year's International Cooperative Alliance Global Conference. Please allow me to take this opportunity to praise again the ICA for their marvelous efforts in ensuring the successful realization of this event, for promoting the cooperative model, and for carrying a voice for the cooperative's betterment worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, cooperatives are enterprises jointly owned and democratically controlled by and for their members to realize their common socioeconomic needs and aspirations. This fundamental mechanism assures the creation of numerous sustainable enterprises, job security, and economic empowerment to the community. In developing countries, the lack of access to capital, education, and training, cooperative structures allow communities to pool together their resources and solve problems, to identify common goals and target the causes and symptoms of poverty. Therefore, cooperatives are an essential tool in reducing poverty. Not only does the current ICA Global Conference enable us to be reminded of the importance cooperatives play in our social and economic fabric, it also allows us to rethink our cooperatives development model in order to ensure sustainability, peace, and equality. I am happy to learn that this conference has provided the context for cooperative members to network and form alliances leading to mutual benefits. It is also good to see that both government institutions and development partners have had the opportunity to exchange ideas and best practices in mobilizing cooperatives towards releasing our role as key global development actors. This is a move which I'm sure, if applied, will ensure the success of the cooperative development movement. From the outcomes of the various panel sessions of this conference, I'm happy to note the numerous resolutions that have been adopted to facilitate the efforts of cooperatives towards global sustainable development, which were agreed upon. These include, first, the positioning of cooperatives with business support services, access to finance, markets, and new technologies to improve sustainable livelihoods. Positioning the role of cooperatives by integrating their identity in educational programs at all levels in order to encourage the youth in entrepreneurship through the cooperative movement. And then there's also developing programs in collaboration with the cooperative movement to enhance and build capacities of cooperatives so as to strengthen the organizational, management, and financial skills of their members. And lastly, facilitating networking events for cooperatives worldwide and knowledge transfer from best global practices for cooperatives to function as vehicles of change towards women empowerment, preservation of environment, eradication of hunger and poverty, job creation, equality and peace, and innovation in entrepreneurship. It is therefore imperative to build upon these guidelines so that we can mitigate the current challenges hindering the cooperative movement, so that we can enable cooperatives to improve the health and living standards of the entire communities in the world. These goals are only possible with your continuous cooperation and commitment to our shared values. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, needless to say, cooperatives have huge potentials to effect collaborative social changes by empowering communities to uplift their living conditions. In light of current uncertainties in global and political and economic climate, this is a silver lining in the sky. Again, it is worth remembering that while foreign aid and investments are useful to transition impoverished communities, external remedies are only half the battle. It has been noted that cooperative grassroots initiatives and social structure are more effective in addressing symptoms of poverty and in delivering assistance. I cannot emphasize enough that cooperatives should and have to play a more active role towards the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. With that in mind, I wish to take this opportunity to thank all the government officials, delegates, and guests who attended this conference and made it a success. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. And to the ICA and all the numerous partners, we thank you very much for turning this theme of cooperatives for development into a reality. And to the cooperatives and their respective members, let me say to please keep up your good work. Continue to leverage on the networks that you have fostered throughout this conference towards achieving your goals. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to officially close the 2019 ICA Global Conference. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, for the closing remarks. So we are at the end of our ceremony, but before we close this session, I would like to give you some few housekeeping comments. So right after this session, the closing, Honourable Minister will be joining the press, the media, for the press conference downstairs. The protocol will show you where it is, plus the president of IC as well. And for tomorrow, we would like to inform that we'll have a dedicated session for ministers, Minister of State present, as well as government officials sent by their respective government. And we would like to kindly request you to be here by 9 in the morning. Then we'll have that session. It will be a closed session between ourselves. And I thank you for your patience. For the rest, I would like to wish you a good stay in Kigali. And as well written on our banner, please try to buy Made in Rwanda products before you leave. So thank you so much and enjoy your lunch.